Hello and welcome to my final video news for 2020. I'm recording this the week before Christmas starts. So this time next week it'll be Christmas Eve, and by the time it's all edited it'll be Christmas Day. So I think there'll be other things you want to be enjoying this Christmas than seeing my video news. So I just thought it'd be useful for this final one to review of the year, a very quick review of the year, what it looked like, what it's held, the highs and the lows. Certainly for me here at Madison's, navigating what has certainly been unprecedented times. Well, of course, the year started off to a great start. The 2020 Boris Bounce. We'd been through 2.5 years of Brexit uncertainty. No market likes uncertainty. They don't know if prices are going to rise or fall. So the minute something is known, generally an asset will become more stable in its pricing, and that is exactly what happened to property. Boris won that election back in December 2019. The Brexit uncertainty was resolved. We were leaving, but the Boris bounce as a result of that pent-up demand of people who put their house moving plans on hold during the previous 2.5 years suddenly surged forward, and it was rocking and rolling. It was great fun. Hadn't seen the likes of it for quite some time. But then, of course, the pandemic struck. I look back and think, how did we not see that coming, actually? But I remember very keenly, in the middle of March, noticing the viewing diary was slowing off a little bit, but not massively. And then suddenly, lockdown called, 23rd of March, and the world changed completely. That full lockdown was something I've never experienced before. Like many of you, literally everything was closed. My particular lows of that are probably a Zoom call I had to do to all my team from my house. As those of you know, I've bought a little bungalow which I'm hoping to knock down. It's not really fit for purpose for lots of people working from home. So I was in my bedroom, and I had to tell all my team they were going to sadly be furloughed because, quite simply, we had no viewings, no valuations, all the normal activity had gone. James, my husband, who runs the business with me, we came down to the office every day, and it was really steadying the ship during that time. We brought back one of my team, Louise, to help out with keeping all our available sellers calm, keeping them on the market. We had our rainbows added to our photos to show support for the NHS and our window decorated. We produced our guide to lockdown living, and I kept my vlogging up the whole way through that. It was all about community support, combined with steadying the ship on those existing deals that we had going through. Generally, not much happened in the world of conveyancing, but I did have 2 deals that completed. Oh my goodness, stress levels through the roof. Will and Holly, who sold their lovely flat in Guildford Road, I have genuinely never felt a stress like that. They had packed up their flat, and they had not yet exchanged or completed. Solicitors were nervous that if a full lockdown in terms of moving was called, and the government actually put a ban on moving, they didn't ban it, they just said they didn't want you to do it, that solicitors would have entered you into a contract that you'd exchanged on and couldn't complete on. So they wanted to do simultaneous exchange and completion. So poor Will and Holly packed up, nowhere to go, 4 o'clock, an error with quoting the account number for the monies to go to meant the monies hadn't bounced up the chain. Oh, an hour later it was sorted and they were on their way to their new home, but hugely stressful times. Well, of course, then on May the 13th, suddenly lockdown lifted. For the housing market, we were given very little notice about that. Literally open your doors. And I think it's because the government knows how crucial the housing market is to maintaining the positivity and confidence of the general state of the nation. So we were suddenly open for business again and finding our way, navigating social distancing, PPE requirements. What does a viewing look like in lockdown? And there were changes for the good in my mind. We could only do viewings with proceedable buyers, which I don't actually think is completely for the good. Sometimes to get a motivated seller, you have to make them a motivated buyer. And if you can't show them something that gets excited, then how are they ever going to want to sell their home? But that's a whole nother dilemma of what we go to. But one real change for the good was our world of virtual tours that we moved into. They've been brilliant, really transformed my business, given us an edge over the competition, and meant that we now close a deal at an average of just 3 physical viewings. So great for our sellers. Clearing up for a viewing is a bit of a nightmare. And there were other changes as well during that time of things that we felt we wanted to do differently, and it was good fun implementing them. I kept on my vlogging, I stayed positive through all of it. 26th of April, looking back to that date, I did record a vlog that I said property prices would rise once the lockdown was fully lifted. And as we saw the nation coming out of lockdown with shops reopening, hairdressers, beauticians, gyms, things like that, my goodness, the demand surged forward. And you're probably sick to death of all my latest vlogs telling you about that enormous demand that has surged forward. We end the year with prices 6.6% up on average. I predicted 5% on my vlog in April, so I got it a little bit short, but I recorded that against a wealth of negativity. The media predicting a property crash, other big corporate agents predicting a property crash. So put my head out there on a block and said, no, I think people are feeling wealthier because they can't spend their money. Most of them are furloughed or working from home and reevaluating what their home delivers for them. And those two factors have combined with low interest rates on mortgages to mean that demand has surged forward. What will next year look like? Well, I'm going to tell you, you've got to tune into my first vlog of the year. I'm going to make that one about my economic outlook for next year, and that will come out early that first week of January, so do tune in for that. But as ever, I remain positive, and I want to thank all of those people who have tuned into my vlogs over the last year and sent such lovely messages, generally enjoying my positivity, which has proven to be accurate. You must remember our media has bias, and they do put a very negative bias spin on things. If you analyse the facts, often that's not the reality. So I hope you've enjoyed my vlogs throughout the year. I've really enjoyed giving them. It's made me feel connected to all of my lovely friends, residents, neighbours, clients, buyers, professional contacts locally. And I look forward to continuing to give you my weekly news next year. And as I say, tune in at the beginning of January for my economic outlook for 2021. Have a lovely, restful Christmas, whatever you're doing and whoever you're with, and do stay safe.